First things first, joining us again is Chris Broussard. Hey,
Good
Chris.
to see you, brother.
Great to be. Look, you guys have brought out a side of Mangini that I've never seen.
Right?
Amazing.
I know. His family's never seen that before either. We got him telling family stories.
He wants to slap Nick.
Yeah. Coach and I think the first month Coach knew me.
Now, only Nick thinks this.
Legitimately disliked me. And now I've snuck my way into his heart, and I think I'm his favorite person that's a non-blood relative. And so we get really good stuff out of Coach.
It's actually very funny. All right, Chris, let's talk a little LeBron James. He had one of his classic stat lines last night, 30 points, 14 boards, 6 assists.
2, 3, and a
Blowout against the 76ers.
What was that?
More importantly, it's the Cavs' 8th straight win. Here's LeBron talking about it after the game.
I'm a big believer, and I know, and I always preach it, that it takes time, no matter how good you've been in the past or how good the players are or whatever. It takes time for things to get in place, and it took us a little time. We took some tough losses early in the season, but we had to learn each other. We had different lineup changes, different lineup switches, and we just kind of been in a rhythm as of late because we've been pretty consistent. So it just takes time.
Chris, we all jumped on Nick here when the Cavs were sort of bumping and grinding a little bit, trying to get out of the gate in the beginning of the season. But now they've obviously seemingly righted their ship. You buying them as the best team in the East again?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I've never left the Cavaliers boat, if you will. Going into the season, I was 100% sure they were winning the East. When Gordon Hayward went down, I was 110% sure they were winning the East. Now I'm 80%.
The streak. But what about the streak?
This current streak or Boston?
No, the Boston streak.
I never felt
anything.
like.
Okay.
I mean, look, it did show me that the gap between the two teams wasn't as wide as I thought.
And that they might have a brighter future than anticipated. That might be quicker.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Jaylen Brown, I think, is probably a future All-Star. You know, he's a great two-way player.
Yes.
So I like Boston, but I did not believe that they were going to beat Cleveland. I think LeBron is just too good for anybody in the East. And I think Cleveland has shown you a few times when they get up for games. Like Washington, that's a big game in the East. Yeah. They beat them. Milwaukee, twice, just because of Giannis. That was a big game early on. They beat them. Boston, we know game one. Last night, Detroit, they pounded.
They've played 6 games against teams that are Eastern Conference playoff teams, likely for this year.
That fourth quarter against the Knicks in the Garden.
Yeah. When they want to play.
So let me ask you this about LeBron. Has LeBron ever played better basketball than he's playing right now?
I'm going to say that's tough. I mean, I've heard people say this is arguably his best year.
Yeah, his second and third year in Miami were amazing.
Yeah, I would probably go with those years.
Just because he was younger.
Yeah, exactly. He was. Here's where he was better defensively.
Sure.
Offensively is very close, but defensively he's not what he used to be.
So he's averaging more points, rebounds, assists, and shooting a better percentage than any year in Miami. I just want to show because why are the Cavs the best team in the league? Because they have the best player in the world.
Best team in the league?
I'm sorry, the best team in the East. Pardon me.
Because I'm surprised.
I didn't say they're not the best team in the league, but I don't want to have that argument right now. I don't want to have that argument right now.
It's your first visit. Okay, don't question.
We got time for that.
Let me just show Chris Broussard something real quick. Here's LeBron James' numbers this year compared to an anonymous player. So you'll see LeBron has him nipped in each category. Just barely more points, a barely higher field goal percentage.
Almost 58%.
3 higher percentage from 3, and almost 1 more assist per game. So that's LeBron this year versus anonymous player. Let me show you who that player is. Can we show that, please? Oh, that's 4 MVP years. So we took Kobe's points the year he won the MVP. We took Shaq's field goal percentage the year he won the MVP. We took KD's three-point percentage the year he won the MVP. We took Derrick Rose's assists the year he won the MVP. All 4 of those guys, that's their 4 MVP seasons. LeBron this year
is the MVP.
Well, we're 20 games in. You want to say him or Harden? We can have the argument.
Right now, it would be Harden.
Sure, but it's
Nick
not
is not looking for a verdict. What he's doing
is laying the groundwork.
Yeah, he's just presenting his case, putting bricks on top of our head. So when he finally wants to put a roof on there,
what I am trying to say is, did you see that? The year Kobe won the MVP, LeBron's averaging. He's averaging a better field goal percentage than Shaq the year he won the MVP.
He's the second greatest player of all time.
Well, one thing,
I love
Chris,
LeBron.
one thing I have to ask you, Chris, is right now you see a couple things that are different in LeBron. We talked about him in Miami year 2 through 4, but his ability to be a better one-on-one basketball player, I think, is at its all-time high, and his ability off the dribble. Like his overall ball handling, to me, has improved. What have you seen, or do you think the same thing?
Well, obviously his shot has gotten better. I mean, three-point shooting has become really good.
What happened? How do you do that in your?
Well, he said he adjusted because of an elbow injury. You know, over the summer he adjusted his shot, and it's helped him in the free throw shooting as well, which hopefully late in games, and in the fourth quarter he's been great in the paint. He's maybe leading the league in points in the paint in the fourth quarter. Okay. So hopefully what I want to see late in games is going to the basket or posting up and scoring.
Yes.
Rather, even a recent game, what was their last one?
Not the game against Detroit. The 199 game was the one you're talking about.
Charlotte. He took a late three rather than going to the hole and either drawing a foul or scoring inside. So I'd like to see him in the paint a little bit more. I think his post games improved too, and he's more willing to go down there. And so if he keeps working on that stuff, I think he's scoring easier than he has in the past.
Is there any possibility that other players in the league, other coaches in the league game planning against the Cavs thought, well, he's going into his 15th year. No way he's going to have last year. He's got to lose a step a little bit. Either it's going to be from the three-point range, or he's not going to drive, or his stamina, or he's not going to have the same minutes. Any shot whatsoever that all the opponents kind of dismissed a little bit that he'd be a better player than he's been the last couple of years?
Well, you always think, look, 15th year, if he began to show some rust or decline, it would be natural. I mean, look at Dwayne Wade. He's in his 15th year. Carmelo Anthony, they're not the same players they were.
Three different human beings. Well, Melo and Wade, they're human. Yeah. But LeBron, man, is not human.
It's unbelievable. And I know your argument about him being the greatest ever. The argument for him is going to be longevity, and obviously his individual numbers in total are going to
the totality of it.
Yeah.
And his being able to play at this level, at this point in his career, makes it, and I hate telling Nick this, I told him this privately, it makes it very compelling to get back into the Jordan argument, because he is amazing at this age. Yeah. And that needs to be recognized.
On the bright side, the Celtics have Kyrie, who went 6 for 16 last night. So they should get
really
good. Kyrie. Look, Kyrie right now, what would you... He would be number 2 in the MVP.
Oh, give me a... Oh, you're out of your mind. Right now,
he'll be number 2.
He's not even the MVP on his team right now.
James Harden.
James Harden's MVP.
That's an absurd statement.
But Kyrie would be number 2.
LeBron should
win. Better year than LeBron.
Should win?
I'm out of here, man.
Gotta be win. Gotta be win.
Gotta be win.
This is our first debate show. This is our first one.
Have you lost your mind?
You've been in L.A. too long, man.
Wins count. You know that.
I have to take a break.
Did they wins count last year?
If Cleveland keeps winning,
did they count last year when you voted for Russell Westbrook?
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Did you have fun when you come back? Come back to New York.
Did they count?
Let him settle down. We got to take a break.